Yeah, good day, viewer. I am here once again to explore on the same topic career, choosing the right career. Now, having known what career is, as a parent, how do you help your children in choosing the right career? Most parents are formed with a habit of choosing career for their children. You want your child to become a medical doctor because your friend's son is a medical doctor. You want your daughter to become a lawyer because that your colleague's daughter is also a lawyer. Not even considering what your child wants. What does she really want? Now, from literature, we've learned that choosing the right career for yourself will help you to attain success in future. First of all, you have to choose, in order to be successful, you have to choose the right career for yourself. How do you identify that this is your career? How do you help your child to identify that this is her career? Remember, choosing a career is not something one can just sleep, tadam, the next morning. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a carpenter. I want to be a fashion designer. It's something that need careful and well thought decision. You have to think it carefully. You must have to undergo research. You must have to observe yourself. Observe yourself, observe what you like doing, what is your passion, what you enjoy doing. Once you're able to identify that, then you can start thinking of that area as your career. Now, similarly, to help your child, to help your child to identify his or her career, you don't need to tell your child, okay, I want you to be an engineer, I want you to be an architect, I want you to be a lawyer, I want you to be a doctor, I want you to be a carpenter, I want you to be that. Allow your child to always choose for themselves. Yes, as a parent, you can guide your children. You can guide them. You can say, oh, I wish you could be this. I wish you could be this. So you're just giving them idea. You're just wishing, but not mandating them, not compelling them to choose that which you want them to do. All right? So in order to align your children with their career, what you will do as a parent, you know all your children, you know them by their behavior, you know them by their characters. What you will do, you begin to observe them. Observe them, try to find out, identify those qualities they have in them. For example, sometimes we judge people, we think of we associate attribute what people will become based on their natural behavior. You see somebody, a child that likes teaching, she likes teaching, she reads a lot. Whenever you ask her something, she will explain in detail. She does her own her assignment, coming to assignment, she will do it, she will teach her siblings. So when you see such quality in such a child, you may begin to think that, oh, this child is going to be a teacher. But it is possible that that child may not want to be a teacher. There is something else that he may want to be when when um when she has reached the age that she can take up a decision for herself. She can make a profound decision in choosing her career. So when your child get to that stage and she choose a career which is different from what you have always conceived in your heart for her, what you do is to guide her, direct her, direct her, counsel her on how to go make plans in order to be successful in that career. Now, for example, if during your child's secondary school um years, she chooses to be a medical doctor, what you will do is to guide her in those subjects that she will uh study in order to require her to gain admission as a medical student in a university. By doing that, you're helping her, isn't it? So whatever you're going to be doing should be in order to prepare her. Prepare her in that direction. Prepare him in that direction. If your child wants to be a teacher, make her prepare her in the line of teaching. There are different ways you can do that. You can get a lot of books for the child to read, to study. You can get motivational teachings from people that are more experienced in that area. Whatever you do, just try to educate that child. As a parent, that's the only thing, the only obligation you have over that child in terms of choosing career. You don't choose career for your children, it is wrong. Except when a child cannot make decision for herself, which is not a good thing. You should always teach children to make their own decision. You should always teach them to take up a choice for themselves. It will help them, because at some point in their life they will become independent, and if you don't learn the skill of taking decision for themselves, it will become difficult for them. So always teach your child from early stage to learn to take decisions for themselves, to make profound choices for themselves. By the time you're doing that, you're guiding that child towards success. You're guiding that child towards success. So, in a nutshell, having talked about career, we can see that career is not something you just work and out of the blue you just decide that you want to be a doctor. You have to have passion. You have to have this feeling of enthusiasm in doing it. You have to have this feeling of comfort, satisfaction. Remember, it is only when you choose the right career for yourself that you have self-pride in what you're doing. You have self-worth. You have job satisfaction. Before I forget, having mentioned the word job, it is also important that we know that job and career are not the same. Yes, it is true that the two of them help us to acquire money. It enable us to acquire money that will help us to support ourselves and also sustain our family needs. But they are not the same. Why job can be a part-time, full-time, or short-term, career is a lifetime profession, something you choose to do in your entire lifetime. But job varies. You can decide to take up a job, take up a full-time job. Maybe you don't have any opportunity again, you know. For example, you can see somebody who studied biochemistry. After graduating from school, he will take up a banking job. You can call that job. The person, that individual, may not have passion for working in the bank, but because that is the only available opportunity he has, so he's left with no choice than to pick up the banking job. That is job. Now you can also decide to take up a part-time job. For example, you're studying in school. So you need something to sustain yourself. Now you can pick up a teaching job. So when you do that, remember what you're studying in school is different from teaching, because a lot of people don't want to be teachers. But sometimes you find out that people take up teaching and they'll say that, okay, they want to do it for just a part-time. You can see a student can decide to take up a teaching job to help that student sustain his needs, to help that student provide his basic needs in school. So we call that job. Now, a job can also be short term. For example, those jobs that are based on contracts, the contract job. that it is an agreement between um, a person, an individual, and an employer. Maybe you are given a contract in a company to complete a renovation, or you're given a contract to organize an event, to manage that event. It's a short-term job, because it's a job that may last for months, weeks, or year, or 2 years, depending on the nature of that job. That is job. But talking of career, for example, in my last video, I I I explore my experience of becoming a teacher. All my experiences through becoming a successful teacher. Now, that is my passion. I have passion in teaching. I've always had this passion right from my secondary school, but I started nurturing it when I started my NCE. That was when I discovered that I have the skill. I have the skill of teaching. I can do it. And already I have that desire, I have that ambition in me to become a teacher. Now, but in becoming this teacher, because choosing a career, there are a lot of difficulties. There are a lot of hard times and discouragements you will get from people. They will try to discourage you, like parents. The parents may try to discourage you because they don't see any need. They don't see whatever you have chosen as your career to be that important. Now, because it's your passion, it depends on you to nurture it. It depends on you to build on it. It depends on you to make them see something different, something they are not seeing in that career. And when you begin to work towards that, remember, it becomes a lifetime affair. Just like I did. I started with NCE. After my NCE, I started teaching with NCE certificates. And when I was teaching with the NCE certificate, yes, I was doing it well. And I was even acknowledged by a lot of persons during that period that I am a good teacher. But why I I left teaching at that particular period was because I want to advance. You see, I want to build on it more. I want to advance in teaching. I want to get more training. I want to get more degrees, professional skills that will enable me to become more proficient teacher. So that was why I started looking for admission for my degree, which I eventually got, and I completed my degree. You can see I completed my degree in education. After my degree, I did my national youth corps service. After doing that, I enroll for my master's degree program. You can see, still working towards becoming a successful, a proficient teacher, because that is what my heart's desire, that is my ambition, that is my passion, that is what I want to do. Despite the fact that I had to, at some point, work in other areas, but still, I still maintained that stand. I still continue to upgrade myself in order to get to the level that I want to get. That is career. And today, I am a lecturer in a higher institution. That is my career. That is my career choice. I work for it. I build it. I nurtured it until this level. And I've not stopped. I am still building it. I am still building it. That is what I've just explained now is one of the tips you can build up your career or even identify it. You continue learning. Take learning. In academic, we call it lifelong learning. You have to learn constantly. And also, in order to build your career, and also identify your career, you have to collaborate with people. Yes, work with people, cooperate with peers, work with colleagues, collaborate with them. Now, by collaborating with them, you will find out new skills. You find out new areas that you never knew you have strength. By working with people, you also discover your weakness and also try to build on it. When you're doing that, you're working on your career. There are a lot of steps out there. You can research further, you get steps. You can, just from people's experience, you can identify your career. So choosing the right career choice in life, it's very important. If you want to be happy, if you want to be satisfied, if you want to be if you want to feel the fulfillment in life, you have to work towards your career. Because when you're working towards your career and towards attaining your career, and when you're eventually working according to your ambition, you will get a lot of satisfaction. You will get a lot of peace. You won't see your work as a stress. You won't see your work as frustration. You will always derive joy, whether you are well paid, whether you are not well paid. The most important thing is that your self-worth, your self-pride, your satisfaction. Of course, you have to be well paid. In this economy you find ourselves today, you have to be well paid. Because I wonder how one will survive without getting enough income to sustain one's need. So you have to be well paid. Okay, now I have mentioned but a few things about career, choosing the right career choice. I will implore you as parents to help. Don't ever force any career on your children. Allow them to identify it. You can help them, you can guide them. For those that cannot take decisions, yes, there are individuals that cannot take decisions for themselves. So what you do is to look at those areas, that the areas of strength. Look at their areas of strength. Now, those areas of strength can be aligned towards their career. Then those that can actually take decision for themselves, those children that can actually say, oh, I like doing this, I want to be this in future, I want to be this, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be that. Be sure that that is what they want to be. And when you discover that this is what they want to be, help them to nurture it. Help them to build it up. Don't ever discourage them, please. Don't ever discourage them. Help them. Even if your child wake up tomorrow and say she wants to become a musician, please be sure that you have seen those qualities of being a musician in that child. And when you see the quality of being a musician in the child, try to help that child build up that career, please. You will see that that child will become more successful than when you compel that child to go and become a medical doctor because you don't want your child to be a musician, because you don't see musician as a very important career. When that child, if you compare your child to become a medical doctor, whereas it's not her career, eventually you will see that that child will never do well. She will never do well in life, and she will always complain that the work is too stressful, this and that. And remember, becoming a medical doctor is something that is very tasking. Even during your school years as a student, it is very tasking. Even during the practical years, it is very tasking, and it's something that involves human life. So please, I implore you to always direct your children towards choosing the right career for themselves. Never compel any of your children to take up a career